Welcome back yet again to Ask Dan Anything. I'm Dan Munro, confidence coach and co-founder of Brojo, and today we'll be answering one of the questions from one of our members. And if you're interested in getting your questions answered, check out the link below, subscribe to the channel, check it all out. Okay, so today we're going in a different tack to usual. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship. It's something I don't talk about very often, and yet it's been such a huge part of my life for the last 5 years. And today's question is an interesting one because it shows the naivety of someone who hasn't gotten into entrepreneurship and the stories that we're sold about it, the lies that we're sold about it, and what we need to be aware of before we decide that we're going to start our own business. So the question essentially is, there's a little bit of a story to it. He says, I'm really interested in entrepreneurship. I'm focused on building a Shopify store right now because I think it's one of the easiest ways to get started with little money. I've considered building a website that provides information and value, but I'm still deciding what I'm passionate enough to dive into for a year or more. How did you decide to pursue your passion? So I'm going to cover some quick points I made about this, and then I'm going to tell you a bit about my story very quickly about how I discovered my passion for helping people for coaching, creating videos and all the other bullshit that I do. The first thing I've really got to hammer home here, entrepreneurship, it's not what you think it is. It is not a quick financial fix. It's really kind of the opposite. You know, you look on the internet and you just see ads after ads of people promoting this quick fix lifestyle of you just start your own hustle on the side and within a year you're flying your own private jet or working from a laptop on a beach. It took me 5 years to get to laptop on a beach, okay? And even then, it's still really fucking hard, right? Do you know how hard it is to find Wi-Fi when your laptop's on a beach, right? You don't consider this stuff. It is not a quick financial fix. It's harder to be an entrepreneur than it is to be an employee. You will do longer hours as an entrepreneur than you will as an employee. You will be more emotionally upset and more emotionally fluctuating and frustrated and confused and in pain as an entrepreneur than you will as an employee. The only real upsides to being an entrepreneur is freedom of choice, and you get to pursue your passion. Okay? Now for me, those are enough. You know, those are enough for putting up with the 70 to 90 hour weeks that I did at the beginning. Those are enough for the constant heartache of your finances going up and down and left and right and all over the place, of the constant having to face all your own fears. I mean, entrepreneurship will make you face all of your darkest demons. Your fears of abandonment and failure and rejection, your fear of success, which you don't even know that you have yet, you know, imposter syndrome. You will have to sacrifice friends, you'll have to sacrifice other things that you love to make this work. It is harder to be an entrepreneur than it is to be an employee. Now, if you're cool with that, then you can move forward. But if you're trying to get away from how hard it is to be an employee, you're going in the wrong direction. Entrepreneurship is worse. So don't believe the hype. Any true entrepreneur or entrepreneur coach will be straight with you about the years of grind, about how most businesses are difficult and require a lot of grind for them to be successful. And even once they're successful, they require a lot of grind to maintain that success. Okay. Passion is important because entrepreneurship is harder than employment. Employment you don't have to be passionate about because it's kind of easy. You got to show up and not get fired. For an entrepreneur, you've got to work your ass off, so you better fucking enjoy it. The real secret to entrepreneurship working is that most of it doesn't feel like work, right? Like, people have to pull you away from it because you love it so much. That's the real secret to making it successful, because it needs that amount of time and effort and energy from you. If you're just sitting there tapping away at your keyboard like, come on, where's my money? It's not going to work out for you. Really, it's not. The only people where that works out for them is because their passion is money. Now, most people think their passion is money, but it's not really. You just want the success, or you want the status, or you want the safety that comes with money. It's not money per se that you're passionate about. Now, there are a few people, Wolf of Wall Street, for example, who are genuinely passionate about those pieces of paper. but they're rare. Most people just want money because they're scared. You've got to be able to do entrepreneurship for the joy, not for the money. But don't be naive about the money either. The money's going to be extremely tough. The way you spend as an employee or as an unemployed student living with your parents has to change completely. You have to go minimal. You have to learn how to be very careful. You have to learn how to budget. You have to know that, hey, what if I don't make any money for the next 6 months? Because that's possible as an entrepreneur. It's not possible as an employee. You have to be prepared to live in that way. Finding passion is hard, and most people start off trying to find money and then a passion that will fit into that when they need to do it the other way around. The trick to finding your passion is to do what you enjoy doing. It's actually pretty fucking simple. But most of what you enjoy doing, at least right now in your mind with your limiting beliefs, doesn't look like viable career options. Maybe you like playing computer games. You'll be like, well, that can't be a job. Actually, it can. Maybe you enjoy hitting a ball around with your friends. Like, that can't be a job. Well, actually, it can. Everything you enjoy, reading, drinking coffee, right? Writing about your thoughts and creating videos like I do. All of those things can be viable careers, but you won't believe it yet. And that's why you can't start with the idea of this thing has to make money, because your options with your mind as an employee of what can and can't and what is and isn't allowed to make money will be so limited that your passion won't be in there, and you won't find what you need to be able to keep this thing going. So you have to start with what you want to do and then try to figure out how to turn it into a career. And the best thing is just to explore areas of interest without restriction of making money. Just do what you feel like doing. You like cooking? Go to a cooking class, cook every night, look up new recipes. You can figure out how to turn that into some sort of Instagram business later on. For now, just get yourself into cooking. Cook for people for free. Get lots of feedback for people on your cooking. That's what I did with coaching. Is initially I was coaching 2 people for free. I coached them for 6 months for free. This is, God, it must have been dozens, if not hundreds of hours of free coaching. Just to see if I like coaching, just to do coaching. After them, I tried to figure out how do I charge money for this. Try to turn something you enjoy into either a product or a service. Either something, an object that they can take away with them, like cooking them a nice meal, or a service like catering, where you prepare meals for people, or you teach them how to cook. Okay, start with a free version just to let go of this whole money restriction, just to see if you like it. And let your enjoyment guide you. Do more of what you like and less of what you don't like. Every week, reassess what you're spending your time doing. Like when I got started, I'd have this much amount of time coaching, this much amount of time building my website. I didn't like the building my website stuff. I did like the coaching stuff. So I'd take an hour from there and I'd put it over here. And I just kept doing that until my business was mostly me doing stuff I enjoy, plus the stuff you just have to do, like taxes and shit. I want to finish up with just telling you how my story started. Right at the beginning, I was at university and I was doing a communications degree, mostly because I was just trying to find out where the pretty girls, went to study. And we did a psychology paper in that degree, and it was the only paper where I really paid attention. I go to those psychology lectures and just be like, fuck, this is so interesting. The brain is so interesting. The way people do things and why they do them just blows my mind. So then I went and signed up for a full psychology degree, a double major. I just said, fuck all the other stuff, just give me psychology. From there, I went to become a probation officer, and I liked working with the criminal offenders, but I didn't quite like working with the easy ones. I wanted the more difficult cases, so then I chased the more difficult ones, became a senior probation officer. And then I realized, working with the more difficult ones, they don't actually want my help. I want to work with people who actually want my help. So I became a manager, so I could help staff who actually want my help. And so I was coaching my staff, and then I became a senior quality advisor, because then I could coach top leaders who could then coach their staff. I could have a bigger impact. I kept going to try and find more of what I liked and less of what I didn't. But then I peaked within Department of Corrections because I was limited. Didn't have that freedom, so I started coaching people on the side, like I mentioned before. I started writing books. I started making videos. And then I really liked doing that, and I wanted to do more and more of it, and I realized for me to do more of it, I have to charge money for it so I can quit my job. So that's what I did. I started charging money for it. I quit my job. My finances quickly tanked, and I went through all sorts of financial stress over the next few years. And if you're not willing to go through that, don't even start. But I borrowed money. I learned how to do marketing, something I'd never heard of before. I figured out how to run a business, and here I am now. Okay, so that's my story. I was following my passion, not money. Money became something I had to figure out to pursue my passion, not passion is something I figure out to pursue money. Hope that helps. If you want your questions answered, like I said, check out the link below. Look for the little white Brojo logo floating around. Click on that, subscribe to the channel, share this around, or share it with anybody you think has big entrepreneur dreams, but they're being naive about it. And I will see you all for the next one next time. Cheers.